Okay, so I think one thing that many people have as a secret is their search history. Like, don't get me wrong, I think my search history is one of the worst things ever, but at the same time though, it's mostly because my thumbnails are one of the hardest things to make. Like, I can't imagine hiring someone just for them to make me a thumbnail and they have to search up hot teacher, hot girl, hot high school girls, hot, like, you know, it just gets really awkward over time. But one thing that was really embarrassing was one time back in high school that happened to me. And let's just say I got exposed for the most weirdest thing ever. And honestly, I have to blame the boys and myself for it. But today's video, I just want to mention a quick announcement that we are doing an advent calendar on my Discord server. So knowing Christmas is coming up, obviously you guys want to do something other than being bored at home doing absolutely nothing. And if you're watching this video, let's be real here, you're probably an awesome person. So let's be sure to bring that awesomeness towards the Discord server. And on top of that, there are going to be awesome events, and on top of that, streams where you guys can join in on our giveaways that we'll be doing on the Discord server. So make sure you guys do join in on the server, verify yourselves with a link down below, and let's get straight into this crazy story. So what is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba, and welcome back to another insane story. So this story takes place back when I was in high school. Like I said earlier, it was basically when my teacher decided to read out my search history. But there is a story to it. I'm not just gonna say, oh, she read out that I watched the Devil's Hub. No, it gets a lot worse than that, and I'll explain how. So basically the night before my teacher ended up reading my search history, I was on Xbox with the boys. Now, if anyone on here knows the internet well enough, you guys know when you're with the boys, anything could happen. From the most embarrassing things to the most normal of things. But honestly, as for me, well, life wasn't that easy. Because I remember when I was on Xbox with the boys, I had Xbox Live. And if everyone knows Xbox Live back in high school days, or back, I want to say like 7 to 6 years ago, you would know that things got really toxic. Like, I'll tell you right now, for all those like snowflakes out there on the internet, you guys wouldn't last a day on Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops 2 Search and Destroy. And if you're one of the boys, well, comment down below, because I think both of us know what we're talking about. Anyways, going on with the story though, I remember I was playing Search and Destroy, and basically me and the boys were talking about some crazy things. For example, we were talking about how 2 girls 1 cup was a thing. Yeah, don't search it up. And another thing we were talking about was a blue waffle. Yeah, you know, I don't really want to talk about it, and nor should you guys search it up. And YouTube, I am not telling anyone to search these up, so please don't. But I remember one of my friends were talking about how one time he ended up going on the Devil's Hub and found this girl called Mia Khalifa. Now I think all of us know who Mia Khalifa is nowadays. Like, I'm gonna be honest here, like, it shouldn't be the first time you guys are hearing this name. But one thing for sure is that back when I was in high school, she was really much known for something other than being a person that talks about sports. And knowing this, I remember as dumb of a high schooler I was, I ended up going on the Devil's Hub and I started searching her up. And when I did, I found about this guy who literally did everything and is basically almost like my relative at this point, named Johnny Sins. And this guy went from being an astronaut to being a space ranger to being a plumber, a doctor. He was even like a nurse. Like, this man went through everything. And knowing this, I remember I ended up doing more research, and let's just say I ended up finding out that midgets are very cool when it comes to, you know what, there's a lot of things I learned, but let's just say that whole entire night, me and the boys were on the Devil's Hub, sending each other links and basically making fun of each other for searching this up and finding what's the weirdest thing you can on the Devil's Hub. And I think we all know that that is the worst thing anyone could do. Like, literally the worst thing anyone can do. Because when you do that, it stays in your search history. And me, well, I didn't know that incognito mode was a thing. And to be fair, I was using my phone, so I was on Safari, because what kind of person uses a Samsung? But anyways, like I was saying though, I remember I basically was doing that, and let's just say the next day when I went to bed that night, I started to realize what I actually kind of liked on the Devil's Hub. So obviously I did my own thing, and then the next day happens, I go to school, and this is where the mistake happens and where things go for the worst. Because I remember all the boys met up that we were originally on Xbox. We met up at school and basically started talking, laughing, and just basically making, like, you know, those inside jokes that you usually have with your friends. Yeah, I was doing the same thing. And I remember my buddy looked at me, slapped me on the shoulder, and said, "You like those midgets?" Yeah, kind of weird to say in the middle of class, but you know what I mean. Anyways, we go inside our classroom, class is getting started, and me and the boys were still laughing about this thing. Because if you guys don't know, when you're with the boys, you can literally laugh about anything over and over, and it still will be funny. Like, I bet some of you guys still have that same joke that was 4 years old, but still funny as hell. So anyways, I remember me and the boys were making these jokes, and then afterwards, my teacher that was in front of the class got really annoyed. He was our law teacher, and he was getting really annoyed how we were talking over him, and we kept laughing, and it got to the point where I remember one of my friends ended up sending me a link on their phone, and reminder, my friend sits in the back of the class, so when he wants to send something and go on his phone, the teacher can't really see him. But me being 2 rows forward, I remember I ended up pulling out my phone, and I clicked on the link and started laughing. But the thing is that I forgot that my sound was on, and they weren't connected to my headphones. They were connected to my legitimate, like, you know, phone speaker. So it ended up coming out of my speaker of my phone, and let's just say everyone heard a moan. Yes, he did send me the Devil's Hub link, but I forgot to put it to my headphones. So when I was listening to it on full blast, basically one thing led to another. I thought they were coming out of my headphones when in reality they were coming out of my phone. So knowing this, I remember everyone turned their heads and looked at me. Yes, I was watching some granny Devil's Hub, and my teacher ended up coming up towards my seat, looked at me and said, Bubba, can I see your phone for a minute, please? He ended up taking my phone, and let's just say he ended up going in front of the classroom saying, all right, class, so apparently Bubba's laughing at something hilarious here on his phone. Let's just connect it to the projector and see what's so funny. He ends up connecting my phone to the projector of the classroom where, he usually shows us movies and stuff, and he ends up screen sharing my phone towards the entire class. And then I remember he was basically showing my search history, so he ended up basically first going on the link that I was sent, and he ended up going on the Devil's Hub. But immediately he decided to click off, and he tried to embarrass me, but in reality he can't embarrass me while showing the Devil's Hub in class. So he ended up trying to embarrass me by going through my search history, and when he was scrolling down that thing, kids in my classroom were officially weirded out by me, because we had everything in there. We had everything from Mia Khalifa, Johnny Sins, Granny, Midget, BBC. We had everything on there. And yeah, it was super embarrassing. And I remember everyone in my classroom basically started laughing and looking at me as if I was some kind of like, Devil's Tango freak, but like not in the good way. And on top of that, I remember my buddies in my classroom, the boys, they were laughing nonstop and posting it on Snapchat and on their Snapchat stories. Super embarrassing, but at the same time, what can I say? Honestly, one thing I remember doing was sitting there really embarrassed at first because it was off my phone. But then I started to realize was that it wasn't really my fault. At the end of the day, it was just me and the boys. And if the teacher wanted to show that in front of the class, well, he's going to look really bad when it gets on Snapchat. I don't know. There's a lot of bad things that happened that day, but at the same time, I remember afterwards, he ended up giving my phone to me. And the teacher's like, you know what? Actually, give me that phone. You're going to get it back after class. And he ended up taking my phone for the rest of the school day, funny enough. He didn't even give it back to me after class because he forgot. And then I remember I was going throughout the day and I had so many girls and guys walk up to me and basically laugh and say, that was the funniest thing. I can't believe you trolled the teacher to go on your search history. Because they just couldn't believe that I searched all that up. Like apparently no person found it believable that I would be searching all that. They thought I set it up just so the teacher would show it in front of the class in the first place. So instead of getting laughed at, I was just getting laughed with. So I don't know. In a way, it was kind of like a win-win scenario. But then I remember when I got my phone back at the end of the class, my teacher said, Bubba, I'm sorry I had to embarrass you in front of class today, but please don't do that again. I remember I ended up just grabbing my phone saying, oh, it's all good. Maybe next time you'll find something funnier. And I remember I took my phone, ended up leaving the classroom, and yeah. Afterwards, I ended up going on Xbox with the boys, and we basically started laughing nonstop about how hilarious it was to be in that classroom. Honestly, I kind of like, made a mark in history, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, guys, that's basically it for the video. So make sure you do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And on top of that, like I always say, follow for more embarrassing stories. Peace out, guys. Enjoy the Discord server. Bye.